In this video, I will explain the course setup for Canvas. So to get to Canvas, you're going to go to the ICC website, which is icc.edu, go to My ICC, and click on Canvas. You will then log in using your username and password that was assigned to you or that you've changed from ICC. You will see then a list of all of your courses, and we're going to pick Biology 110, but depending on which course you're in, you could do Biology 210, 140, whatever is the appropriate course. So we're going to begin on the left and work our way across the screen. So first, the dashboard is where we just were, and now we can go to our courses, and again, pick whatever course is the appropriate course. The calendar feature is a nice way to view your assignments, and you can even color code them over here on the side, and it shows the due dates. You can get to the assignments by just clicking on the appropriate link, and it will take you right to the assignment. The best way, however, to complete the assignments accurately and completely is to go through the modules. Next, going on the left, we have the inbox, which is where you can send those emails either directly from Canvas by clicking the inbox and creating the email, or you can just use your regular ICC email. Remember, all correspondence has to be through your ICC email and not through your personal email. So let's go all the way to the right. So we have here, you can do a course stream if that works better for you. Again, there's the calendar view, whatever view is best for you. And then as we click down, there's often a to-do list, and it has the dates, what the assignment is, and the number of points. Again, my number one recommendation to complete all of the assignments is to use the modules, which we'll get to in a second. When you log into whatever course it is, you're going to see announcements listed here. You'll have 3 at a time. These announcements are also going to be emailed to you. So if you're ever confused about something or not sure what you're supposed to do, the announcements have a nice list of what is due and when. So I have the week or the lesson, the assignment list. I usually just have the day, so like a Wednesday or a Friday. The first week I do provide some dates just because it's new, but after that I probably will not have the actual date. And all assignments are due at 11:59 p.m. So this is kind of your to-do list. So again, if you're ever not sure what you're supposed to be doing, you can go to the assignment. This is the exact same information that is on the syllabus, but this is just kind of a nice electronic way to keep records. Also, just to kind of note, the first week only is going to be things that are due a whole list of lab and lecture on Sundays. Typically, that's not going to be the case. Typically, your assignment due dates are Wednesday, Friday, and Monday. Because it's the first week, I give you a little extra time to kind of get everything organized. So the first week only, you have things due on Sunday. And we'll go through that more when we talk about the lecture syllabus and the lab syllabus. So let's go to modules, which is what I keep mentioning. And the modules are the best and fastest way to make sure you've completed all of your assignments. So this first module is automatically embedded in Canvas. It's basically resources, how-to videos if you're not really sure how to use Canvas. So I'm going to collapse that because we don't really need to talk about that. Then the second module is the Welcome Start Here. So this is where all the course information is. The syllabus is here. The syllabus is also on the left where it says syllabus. Instructor information. So if you click on that, you get a little snapshot, and this will change from semester to semester. There's my picture, so you know what I look like, my name, my email address, my office location, the office hours, and my office location as far as when I have office hours. If none of these times work for you, you can also make a virtual appointment. So let's go back to the module. So we have what are called FAQs, so frequently asked questions. This is kind of a breakdown of the syllabus into chunks, and I have them for lecture and for lab. So if you want to read those, which I highly suggest, you can click on that. And again, they're just kind of chunked into kind of question and answer format. It's a snapshot of the syllabus. So another location of the syllabus is on the left tab. You can click here and download that document. I do recommend that you print the last few pages of the syllabus because it's going to have all of the dates for all of the assignments and a place for you to record your scores. The Canvas gradebook will also do that, but just kind of a nice to have a paper version of that. And again, I will talk about the syllabus in detail in another video. So go back to the modules. So we're still in the start here. Here's some success tips, so things to kind of help you along. If at any time you need to take a test or a quiz in the testing center, this is the link to make an appointment. If you need tutoring or support, the academic support will help you with that. And then this was the opt-out that I mentioned in the syllabus video. I would not recommend opting out because you will pay more money. So again, I'm going to collapse the welcome, and eventually these how-to videos will pop up. I'm still working on a few of them, so that's why they're grayed out. But this is kind of a bite size for each individual part that if you want to look at these later, you can. So where are you going to start? The first thing you're going to do is the orientation assignments. Those are due on the Wednesday after the semester starts. That may vary from semester to semester. And here's a list of how to complete them. And we have the orientation Nearpod, which is what you're doing right now. It's 10 points, it's a lot of components. And then there's a Proctorio. So Proctorio is the proctoring software. There's a video to watch, and appearing soon, there will be a quiz underneath here. So here's that orientation Proctorio quiz. So it's only 2 points, but you're going to watch the video first. The video is like 3 minutes. It basically walks you through how to get prepared as far as your computer, have your ID ready. It can be a student ID, it can be a driver's license. So you're going to watch that video before you take the quiz. So the quiz is just kind of a practice to get you ready for Proctorio before you take a quiz that's worth any significant amount of points. If you have questions, please contact me. Usually Proctorio is the #1 thing that you kind of struggle with. So again, if you have questions, please feel free to contact me. So as we move down, we now have, and there's going to be more again added, so I'm still kind of building things as the semester progresses. So things that kind of have this little trophy are, or little present are going to be extra credit, or in this case, the exam one also. It's not in there because it's not for a few weeks. We don't need it yet. So there's an extra credit in here, which will be an extra credit study guide for Unit 1 that you can complete 4 points and submit. And then exam 1 will be right below here. So that's where when it's time to take exam 1 in a few weeks, you will find exam 1. And I always have the exams at the beginning before each of the units. Okay, so now let's get to a lesson. Okay, so lessons are the same typically as weeks. If you're taking it in the summer, then that may be slightly different, but normally a lesson is the same as a week during a normal 16-week semester. But if it's an 8-week course, you'll have 2 lessons per week because it goes a little faster. So the beginning of each lesson, I recommend that you work your way down the module so that way you don't miss anything. Again, if you go straight to the calendar and the assignments, you're not really going to understand where all the resources are. So if you start at the very top and work your way down, go to Lesson 1, Introduction. And these are what we call pages. So the page is primarily going to provide you with kind of a little snapshot of what we're doing that week. If there's videos, specifically in the Nearpods, then they'll be listed here that way. If you want to go back and watch them again and you don't want to do the whole Nearpod, you can just click on the videos here. If there's a video, for example, in the lab, as we scroll down, that video will be here. So again, if you just want to look here for those videos, that's fine. Now keep in mind, for the assigned Nearpods, you have to work your way through. You can't just skip to these videos. So if you want the points, you got to watch the Nearpods, do the activities, etc. There's also some additional resources or some extra credit in here. So if you're like, I'm just having a hard time with, the scientific method, you can click on this and it will provide extra resources. Okay, so let's go back to the module. So one option that I recommend is when you're in the module to go to the next thing so you don't skip anything, is just to click next at the bottom right, and that will take you to the next thing. The other options to go to modules, and again, we're going to scroll down to where we were, and here we are, which is the lecture resources. So lecture resources are exactly what it sounds like. They are the things that you're going to use so that you can learn all the material for lecture. And there'll be a separate tutorial on how to complete the lecture assignments a little later. So each one will have what we call a student worksheet or student notes. It's the same thing. And basically what they are is they're going to be your notes that you need for the course. So if you click on this, what it's going to open up is a PowerPoint presentation, which is going to correspond with the Nearpod. So whatever your preferences, you can type your answers in here, you can print these and handwrite, whatever works for you. So what you're going to see are these blanks. So this is way of blank science. So the blanks, the answers are going to be in the Nearpod. So if we go to the next one, again, steps to find the blank to your question. So you're going to fill in those blanks by watching and listening to the Nearpod. And this is the note for the course. This is what I'm going to use to make the tests and quizzes. So you can print them, you can type them in, whatever works, you can turn them into PDFs. As long as this is what you're studying for the tests and quizzes, you'll be successful. So the next thing under lecture resources will typically what would be called learning objectives. And these are basically a list of things that you should know before you take a test or quiz. And it's kind of a study guide. You're not going to turn these in. And again, if you want to print these, fine. I actually would not recommend that you print these unless you just want to. You can use them to make flashcards. You can use them however you want. They're really good for the comprehensive final because it kind of gives you a checklist of all the things you're supposed to know. So the first one is really short because the first chapter, we're just going to look at one section the first week, and then we'll kind of continue to add as the semester progresses to that chapter 1. So again, this one only has 3 questions. Some may have 10, some may have 20. These are not graded. They're not submitted. They're just another resource if you would like to use it for studying. So now as we go down the list, we see lab resources. I'm going to wait and click on that when we get to the lab tutorial. But basically the lab exercises is where all the information is to complete the lab. This is a lab course, so you're going to purchase a lab kit from the ICC bookstore. You're going to start using it the first week. So if you don't have it, you need to get it ASAP. And I think they're about $30, $35 maybe in the bookstore. And the first week we just need it for inventory, but you do need it that first week. And then again, we have, normally they won't be on Sunday. Normally the lab would be due on Fridays, and normally the lecture would be due on Wednesday. So this is just kind of showing the first week, or the first lesson, what it looks like. So we have your Nearpod, your SmartBook, your homework, some lab things, as far as the tutorial, some lab photos, and then the quiz. The quiz is kind of the summation of, did you learn all the material? So I'm actually going to scroll down so you can see the second week. And I want you to see the second week because it's more typical of what you're going to be seeing. So again, we have our checklist. We have a few discussions boards this semester, not very many, 1 or 2. And this is just kind of an introduction to the course and to you so that you can meet your classmates. Then I will have, again, lecture resources. This one's empty right now, but I will add that. Same with the labs. What I really want to show you is what the assignments look like. So it's very clear this list is due on Wednesday. So they're all due at 11:59 p.m. and it's going to have a SmartBook first. And again, we'll go through how to do each assignment a little later. Then you're going to have a homework and you'll have a Nearpod sitting in here also. So it has the due date right here. So sometimes students are like, I can't figure out what the due date is. It's right here. So this is a Wednesday, January 24th is a Wednesday, and the number of points. So this one is 3 points and this one is 5 points. Then we have our lab assignments. So lectures due on Wednesdays. Again, there normally will be a lab, or I'm sorry, not a lab, a Nearpod here, which I will show. So here would be the Nearpod. The Nearpods typically have this little film thing next to it and it says Nearpod. That is the way you're going to learn the lecture material. So that's where that's going to be hiding out. And then on Fridays is the lab. So you'll have a virtual lab, which is kind of like a pre-lab. And I do recommend that you do those before you do the actual lab activity, and then the lab photos. And again, I will explain in the lab tutorial how to successfully complete all the lab activities. That's usually what you struggle with the most. And again, the due dates are there, the points are there. Most labs are going to be 4 points. In fact, that one is going to be 4 points. And then I'll modify that between now and when you guys open it. And then Mondays are when the lesson quizzes are due. So the lesson quizzes are lecture and lab, and they do use Proctorio. So that's that software that's going to watch you take your tests and quizzes. And it will list the word proctoring enable, which means have your ID ready, already studied, no resources. So that's going to be listed there. You can always do things ahead of time. So quizzes are open a week ahead. Everything else is open about 10 days ahead. You don't need to wait until the day of or a half hour before. You can always do things at your time schedule as long as it's before the due date. So last little bit about our Canvas. So if we did a discussion, you can either click here or within the module. Your grades, so there won't be any grades listed because I don't have anything done, but your grades will look just like this. So it'll have all of the assignments and then your scores. So this kind of gives you a list of what's due when. Then the one thing I do want to show you briefly is this thing that says McGraw-Hill Connect. Students often think you don't have a textbook. You do have a textbook. So if you click on McGraw-Hill Connect, if it's your first time clicking on this, it'll say begin or register, and that's where you're going to register. Now you've already paid your fee, or you will be paying your fee, so there's nothing to do besides put in your information, and then I'll show you what it's going to redirect you to. So once you've clicked on that, you should be able to go to this site. You only really need to do this if you want to read the textbook in this manner. Now let me point out, this is not your current textbook for this course. However, yours would be right here with the picture. It would say, you know, Life Science, Hofnagel's, etc. So depending on what your textbook is, you would just click here to use what's called the eText, which is the electronic version. So you do have a textbook. I do not encourage you to do assignments this way. The only way I encourage you to use this is to read the textbook. So again, we were here where it says McGraw-Hill Connect, and then go to my Connect section. Once you've registered, often students again say, I don't have a book. You do have a book. All right, so the last few things that you have are you have course or college tools, which I don't really use those, but you may want them. ICC reading list. For this course, I don't have a reading list for you. So again, that's something you're probably not going to use. And this is free online tutoring called BrainFuse. And if I remember correctly, they are available 24 hours. So you have wonderful resources for tutoring and assisting or help. All right, I hope that was helpful on how the Canvas site is going to work. And we'll continue with the syllabus, how to complete lecture assignments, and how to complete lab assignments.